that to this lady. We got a PayGo exemption. Go tell her.
Mm-hmm.
Go show her the video of AOC saying we got to cause a ruckus. We got to be willing. Oh, we can do this. All it takes is courage. And then show AOC saying we have to uphold the rule of law. She went from MLK to Nixon in 30 days, and you're not going to call that out?
So Jimmy Dore is a national treasure. Jimmy Dore is fantastic. Jimmy Dore's wrong about PayGo. So we got 5 accomplishments. I got 5 accomplishments here that I have written down. I can understand his rage. I can understand why he's mad. And PayGo isn't enough because we didn't get Medicare for all. And he's going to point out that we can't even get the progressives to agree on shit they already agree on. They ran on these issues saying how important Medicare for all is. They get in a position of power. They got a moment to do something to use their power. Gene Cougar had pointed out that we need to stop a must-have bill. He said it was a continuing resolution, but a must-have anything. A must-have Pelosi, a must-have NDAA, must-have continuing resolution. Bernie Sanders tried this tactic, and the Senate had to overrun him. So it is an effective tactic, but to block a continuing resolution is just as much, if anything, blocking a speaker. That's way more powerful than blocking a continuing resolution. And so they're both equally important, but that's not a better idea. Jink did not have a better idea. And so the 5 accomplishments, well, let's keep on.
The way you put pressure on politicians is to scare them. The only reason this happened is because I scared them.
Right.
Because I raised my voice, and I was screaming outwardly the way everybody who lacks health care has been screaming inwardly. This woman is screaming inwardly the way I've been screaming outwardly, and that's why it got traction. That's how you fucking do a pressure campaign, not by sending them chocolates.
Okay, Jimmy, I hear you.
We got to be nice to the people to get them to do what they fucking ran on.
Right.
Are you out of your fucking mind? That we have to be nicer to them to get them to do what they fucking ran on?
That's bullshit.
You're a cuck if you don't fucking hold their feet to the fire.
You cucking
they ran on it!
Cuckers, you bunch of mother cuckers.
The DSA, it's in their goddamn fucking manifesto that this...
So, Jimmy Dore's not happy with the, absolute and utter abysmal failure. Overall, it was a failure, but I want to point out the accomplishments. We get to see who the honest people are. We get to see who the honest progressives who actually want concrete change are. Who are the people that are saying, yes, we've got to change, when they're not, oh, we're okay with the establishment, we're going to go ahead and keep everything as is. No, we are true blue progressives. We truly want concrete change. So we know the progressive YouTubers who want concrete change. That's important because, I got a bunch of new heroes and I'm discarding a bunch of old heroes. And so this is fantastic. This could be turned into, this ain't over. The Jimmy Dore is still here. And guess what? We're going to have more votes. We're going to need to force more votes. And we still don't have Medicare for all. So we need to force a Medicare for all vote still. And so can we find, a continuing resolution, NDAA, these must-have bills, must-have decisions that we would be willing to, fight against unless we get what we want? I think that's a fantastic idea, and I think that opportunity will present itself over and over again in, the next couple of months. Part of me wants to wait for when Jink says, okay, February 2nd, that's when we're going to do force the vote. But a bigger part of me, because Jink is just, this is too fucking petty, he could have just said yes, and then we would have got the motherfucking thing. Because we did accomplish a bunch. I got 6 actually. I added a 6th one because the unmasking. The unmasking was very important. We changed the narrative. All eyes were on the progressives. Even Richard Medhurst out of the, UK or wherever he's at. He's paying attention. He's, an outsider, so he's looking in and he's like, what's going on in America? So the whole world is paying attention to this shit. I mean, not Americans aren't, but, you know, the rest of the world is, and Jimmy Dore is.
But this is the centerpiece, and they wouldn't get on it. Shame them. That's what fucking works. Do you think this happened because I was fucking nice to them? No, it's because I finally started holding the Justice Democrats to account for their bullshit. That's why this happened, not because I was...
I'm on your side,
That's
Jimmy.
what they're fucking doing.
Our town belongs to us.
I'm helping people get through this.
They're making me stick through the 15 seconds, so
Chicago
I apologize.
returns Wednesday on NBC.
AOC tried to sick her neoliberals on me by saying I was causing violence. When all I was doing was was exactly what AOC told me to do, which was stop using polite language.
Bring
She
the
did
ruckus.
it. Stop
Bring
using
the
polite
ruckus.
language. Until...
And it's going to be hard.
They didn't say anything, and so we all...
Okay. So real quick, we changed the narrative. There's the great unmasking. Jimmy Dore has an army. He's got a Twitter army. He's got a YouTube army. We had, you know, boots on the ground. We hit the streets. We lit up social media. So, you know, I don't know about, Twitter was where basically I resided on social media. I got a Facebook account, but nobody wants to fucking say shit on Facebook. So Twitter is just more active and lively. I'm not for sure if we're actually communicating or not, but it's more, that's where I'm at for right now. But there's a ton of other things, right? There's a whole bunch of other social media platforms, Twitch, Minds, whatever. Okay, so AOC was right there with the coals. That has to scare the shit out of the U.S. government. If they're coming after the most popular, most progressive, if they're coming after AOC, who the fuck are these nobody nothings, right? If they're coming after AOC, so everybody's on notice. So everybody's paying attention. Then we're going to see how the progressives are going to do on day one. They all bowed down, you know, and coronated Queen Pelosi, which is terrible, which is fucking awesome. Terrible, but it's, what am I saying? Lauren Boebert actually voted against it, which was incredible. My representative, but she's a fucking Republican. So you had 5 Democrats, apparently corporatist Democrats, right? 5 corporatist Democrats who didn't vote for Nancy Pelosi. How are they going to survive their careers? So AOC is raked over the coals. That scares the shit out of the rest of the government. That's a success. Gene Cougar, you know, shitting his pants. That was fun to watch. PayGo Rules. Jimmy Dore is going to say that the PayGo Rules change was not a success, but it was a success. So let me see. We changed the narrative. Jimmy Dore's got an army, and I think forced to vote can become an institution because we're going to have more votes. We still have to get Medicare for all, and there's going to be other votes that we're going to need to force. And so, you know, for Jimmy Dore, what's the next move, right? So that's, you know, the accomplishments. Now, the PayGo rule changes we disagree on because it worked. It worked. PayGo rule changes. So what did PayGo rule? It opened the gate to allow for Medicare for all. He's right that it's a diversion. He's right that they're just throwing some scraps. Okay, we did something. Fuck, chill out, everybody. But that means they hurt us. They hurt us. That's the biggest accomplishment. This is an abysmal failure. You don't want to take away our biggest accomplishment. And why is it an accomplishment? Because we know that AOC was listening, and right before forced the vote, when they knew that they were going to genuflect and, you know, my liege, bow down to the, you know, monarch, to the matriarch of the Congress, before they go ahead and kiss her ring, as Jink likes to say, kiss her ass, that's better. We got the establishment to do something. We got the establishment to do something. Whether it was tiny, whether it was big, it's the only fucking change that we got. So I feel like we need to be different than the Democratic Party. Generally, when you lose an election or you lose a movement or you lose something like this, You have a retrospective period. You look in, you have introspection. You say, okay, what worked, what did not work? And so while overall it was a failure, right, because the progressives, but there's some successes. So it was a failure because the progressives didn't, use their power. Are they going to use their power for anything? We don't know. This is a big, major test that they failed. Are we going to, check out the baby with the bathwater? No, we'll give them a couple, a month or two. We'll give this new government a month or two. Let's see what the fuck they come up with. But if they keep on coming up with these moments when we can do something and they don't do something. So it's up right now. Jimmy Dore needs to think about the next time. Well, when are we going to push for Medicare for all? And is there another vote that's coming up that's important to Jimmy and important to a lot of progressives that he could say, all right, Army, here we go. And what was his, what was the tactic? The tactic is just fucking create a ruckus, create a fucking shitstorm on social media, protest outside. So really, this is the power that we have as outsiders. So we're telling the people on the inside use their power, and in return, we're using our power. This is what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to put our pressure on, as a citizen, we're supposed to put pressure on our politicians. And this is a great brand. Not only should you put pressure on the progressives in Congress, you should put the pressure on the progressives in, Denver, the state governments, and the local county governments. So you should put pressure on the local governments, on all of them, but the progressives are the ones that indicate we can change things. And if the progressives aren't doing shit, then what the fuck? That kind of means we have a hopeless situation. And in Britain, they'll dissolve the entire parliament when they reach a vote of no confidence. That means they don't have confidence in this government to be able to carry forward. And yeah, I don't have any confidence in our government. So we got to put pressure on all the government officials, but the progressives are, you put the pressure on the progressives, and then they put the pressure on the rest of the Congress. That is politics 101. So here's Jimmy Dore being wrong about PayGo.
They all thought that they were withholding their vote, and it turns out they weren't. Because, boom, and now they all voted for her. So every member of the squad voted for Nancy Pelosi. The only people who didn't vote for Nancy Pelosi were corporate Democrats, blue dogs, and people like that. They were able to withhold their vote from Nancy Pelosi. The squad, who ran on withholding their vote from Nancy Pelosi and forcing... See, there it is right there. I said shame by far. Don't listen to those...
Sorry.
And
just 33 minutes of...
You're
what the fuck, everybody?
Come on!
Come on, what the fuck?
With complete lack of courage to stand up for... So Cenk Uygur would tell that guy he doesn't understand how politics works. This fight for her. You can't look at a camera and say that, then you're not being candid. That's why this happened, not because I was fucking nice. And that's what's wrong with the left. They're a bunch of fucking mealy-mouthed, spineless pricks who don't do a fucking thing. The moment came and they did nothing. And they sold you out for their careers. I don't care if they're taking the money.
You're not talking about me, I hope.
They are a brand. They are a celebrity fucking brand. They sold you out for their own careers, their own celebrity brand, and their own fucking protection. That's what they did. What is the point of voting for people who don't take corporate money if they fucking go along with the people who do? There's no point. This is a failed experiment. This is a failed experiment. If you don't recognize that the progressive movement is unbelievably fucking decimated, and that they won't even fight a little.
So Jimmy Dore's pissed, and rightfully so. Anyways, I'm going to find that clip and do, make sure I get... This is important. I'm documenting history, so I'm getting all these audio clips because, it's important. I'm documenting history. And, yeah, and that's it. So, Georgia, go vote. And let's stop the coup and make sure you keep Jink Ugar away from your pets. Peace.